I finished already. It's too much pain.
I think my favorite tattoo is the forearm one. Right? That's the legendary one, right?
Yeah, some people look at me, they think it's cyber, they look my arm, I cannot hide anymore.
They can identify you right away. All right, so you just fought, what, last month, I think?
Two weeks ago.
2 weeks ago?
Yes.
Okay, so when do you think you might get back out there? It might be Zingano, we don't know yet. In a perfect world, when does Cyborg fight again?
No, I ask Scott Coker anytime. I'm good, no injury, I'm training. Anytime, in 2 months, I'm ready.
2 months?
Yes.
Wow. Do you have any plans to maybe... It's going to be 145 no matter what from here on out?
Yes, 145, yes.
You won't even contemplate any weight? What about 155? Would you do 155?
I would like to fight 55. 55 and I have to lose a little bit of weight, but it's going to be perfect too.
All right, before we let you go, you got to give us some kind of a prediction, Chris. Mayweather, Paul, what round does it end in?
Let's get a 7.
Wow.
You think it goes that long?
Maybe.
Okay.
You want to sell the fight. You have to sell the fight.
Yes.
You know, I don't know, 7 because I like number 7. It's not a perfection of God. 7.
7. Okay. Well,
Let's go.
Well, congratulations on all your success.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see you again. Chris Cyborg. The Bellator Women's Featherweight Champion of the World. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Much as Paul brothers and Jake, I wanted Ben to win, and I talked to Ben like, you're representing MMA, you're representing UFC. Do you feel that pressure? He's like, yeah, I feel like even my haters are like, man, I hope you beat Jake Paul. Like, the MMA community rally around their guy as much, even if they hate him. And when he was competing in UFC, and you know, he talked all that trash, and he was the heel most of the fights, and you know, obviously people are happy to see the Masvidal knockout. The community still rallied around him because he was our guy.
Right.
Floyd is boxing's guy, man. He's the face of boxing. I think it's crazy that you don't, not that, I'm not saying you guys, but for society to not think the pressure's on Floyd here.
I think, yeah.
To represent boxing as a whole.
Floyd has worked so hard to be undefeated, but so has Father Time. And someday it's going to catch him. I'm not trying to oversell this for Sunday night, but someday
I'm not either, but like when I had Jake Paul on Food Truck Diaries, you know, he goes, you know, as fighters, sometimes you have a bad night. So we got to hope Floyd has a bad night. Logan has a real good night. And Floyd's missed a step. I went, whoa, Bubba. You got to hope Floyd's missed 10 steps.
Right.
One step's not enough. You got to hope he
drives to the wrong arena.
You got to hope he shows up with binoculars.
Well, let's continue this conversation, but joining us now on stage is another luminary from the Bellator family. He will be fighting. We don't know the date just yet, but we know the opponent and we know the stakes. It will be for the Bellator featherweight title, the winner of the Grand Prix. This gentleman is one half of the finals.
Yeah,
$1 million smackers. It's AJ McKee. AJ, welcome. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
And I want to put this out there. I picked him to win it from the jump. I want that on record. Yeah, from the jump.
All right, fair enough.
Stump the shop over here.
What's up, Doug? Remember that guy?
AJ, you may be the best dressed man in the building right now.
You look good, man.
Thank you,
good.
man. I learned from you guys.
Let me see the watch. Yeah, that's a nice watch.
Wait for the next one. Shout out to Newport Watch Club, man.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
All right.
AJ, I want to start there with the Pitbull fight because there's it's so big that I've heard longtime guys in the industry say this might be the biggest fight in Bellator history. If you identify with that, sell me on why.
Why? I mean, just look at Pitbull's accolades alone. 145, 155-pound champ. Just the name Pitbull alone, it's been ringing in Bellator for so long. He's been the champ since I first signed to Bellator, so 17 fights he's held that world title. once again, you got the Floyd Mayweather of MMA standing in front of him. I've called his name since I signed, so I'm looking forward to going in there and just putting my first mark on my legacy and continuing my father's.
Papa, he called himself the Floyd Mayweather of MMA. That's big ones they call that where I
Big
come from.
ones, big huevos.
Yeah.
Big huevos. Do you see any holes in Pitbull's game? It's tough, right? He's a pretty dominant fighter.
He's a dominant fighter, but styles make fights, and you know that.
Yeah.
For me, my style is just so superior to him. The reach, he has to get past the reach on top of, once he gets past the reach, he has to deal with the elbows, the knees. If he takes me down, I'm comfortable off my back. So for me, I just got to go out there and fight a smart fight, you know what I mean? Don't leave any loopholes and just expose him of his.
Yep.
AJ, what do you make of this? It's almost like Floyd Mayweather is fighting a fan. You know?
It is. It's entertainment. You know what I mean? Floyd said it himself. He said, "I don't fight anymore."
Right.
You know what I mean? So this is a great opportunity. It's a great marketing exposure. It's surreal to me. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, man, that's what I need. I wanted to fight Floyd. I want to fight Floyd. Like that's the exposure I need. I need to get that paycheck. You know what I mean? That just to solicit yourself as that echelon of the elite fighters. So it's going to be a big move, but I think he ruffled Floyd's feathers the wrong way this fight, taking his hat.
How long do you think it goes?
I'll tell you what is true, though.
As long as Floyd wants, right?
Exactly. As long as Floyd, I think he's going to probably soften his body up. He might just hurt him to the body and really punish him.
Agree 100%.
Because the height's going to be
An issue, yeah.
If Logan Paul asked you for one piece of advice in this fight, what would you give him?
Great question.
Don't take the fight?
pretty much. Just get after him. You know what I mean? Go in there like a shark smelling blood.
Right, you're not going to beat Floyd over the long haul, so it's 100 miles an hour. Just go.
He's got to get him out of there in the first 2 rounds.
Right.
If he doesn't, it's a wrap.
All right, we're short on time. Do you know when your finals for the Bellator Featherweight Grand Prix is going to be yet?
Where it's going to be?
When?
When? No. Hopefully it'll be in LA and I get to fight back home and bring that world title and my $1 million check.
So there's a chance it won't be at Mohegan. They could move it around.
Correct.
Wow. Okay.
Correct.
Well, you know what? We can't wait to see it. We appreciate you stopping by. Enjoy the craziness tomorrow, and we can't wait to see you fight whenever that may be.
Thanks for
Thank you
having
so
me,
much.
guys.
AJ
Appreciate
McKee.
it.
Don't let me
everybody.
down.
Nah,
You're
I
my
got
guy.
you. Hey, bet on a second round finish.
You got it.
Oh, okay.
And I like to bet. So,
Yes, you do. You are a degenerate. That is true. All right, we think we're just moments away from going back to the stage for just a second. Real quickly, BC, we haven't talked about it, and we'll get back to it a little bit later as well. Chad Ochocinco's on this card. Chad Johnson, the former NFL player.
Big draw.
I got to say, he's had a completely different attitude than what I thought he was going to have.
He's been humble. He says, I'm out of my element, and I want to respect that. He's going in there against Brian Maxwell, a 33-year-old who's got like a little bit of boxing experience, a little bit more BKFC experience, but this is fish out of water. He's got the guts to do it in the old.
Do you want to box a guy who won at BKFC? I'm not sure that I would.
No, what kind of savage signs up for bare knuckle fighting? I fought in the UFC for a long time. I would not fight a guy who decided to do a bare knuckle boxing match, especially if I'm Chad Ochocinco.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a bad idea for him.
He's a great athlete. He looked to be in tremendous shape when we saw him yesterday when you stopped by the set. So I don't think he's physically unprepared. But there's a question like, dude, if you fought in boxing and you've won at bare knuckle, you're probably a very tough, scrappy person who's had to, like, your whole life has probably been somewhat
Sleep. Yeah, I would spar with him every Tuesday. It's just that.
What was so hard about, from an MMA perspective, doing the boxing rules? What was so hard about it?
Their angles, he would see things before it even happened, so it almost felt like I was in, I was in water, and he could see everything. It's just the gap is so huge to try and make up for that.
Right.
It was almost to be honest, it was a waste of time.
Right. So that fight will be on the card. Obviously, Mayweather-Paul will be the headliner. There is one. I would call it very real, very traditional boxing fight on
Well,
this.
two of them, but one of them is good. There's some heat in it.
Which, of course, will be the Jarrett Hurd fight,
Jarrett
correct?
Swift Hurd, the former unified champion, 100.